Hello there and welcome to Lower 6th Further Maths January Mock Exam Revision Sheet 2. Here we're working on question 1. Without a calculator, compute 4 minus I squared. Okay, so when we square a complex number, we're going to have to remember that it's effectively a double bracket expansion. You can't just square the 4 and square the I here. So it's going to be a double bracket expansion. So doing this, we get 4 times 4, which is 16. 4 times minus I, which is minus 4i, minus I times 4 is minus 4i, and minus I times minus I, that's a double negative on the i's, that'll be plus I squared. Okay, we can simplify this a little bit more. We can obviously group together these minus 4i's, so minus 8i, and we can also simplify this I squared here. Now if you remember that I represents the square root of minus 1. If we square both sides here, we're going to get I squared equals minus 1. So this I squared at the back here is going to be a minus 1. Simplify this a little bit further. 16 take away 1 is 15 minus 8i. You can also check this on your calculator. Go to the menu button and click on option 2. Square your complex number like that and you get 15 minus 8. I did say without a calculator, but just to check, you can use your calculator. Okay, 4 minus I over 4 plus I. Now this here is very similar to rationalising the denominator as you did in GCSE, just with square roots effectively. So if you were to be asked to rationalise the denominator of 4 minus root 2 over 4 plus root 2, you would immediately know from your GCSE knowledge that it's times the top and the bottom by 4 minus root 2 from the complex conjugate, sorry, not from the conjugate of 4 plus 2i. And exactly the same thing works with complex numbers as well. To simplify this, we need to do 4 minus I over 4 minus I. Okay, you can't just do the real parts divided by each other and the imaginary parts divided by each other, or any other of that rubbish. You have to do it this to be fair, quite long way of doing it. Okay, 4 minus I times 4 minus I, well that was the same answer as we had in part A, so that's just 15 minus 8i. And on the bottom here, we need to treat this as a 2 bracket expansion, so it's 16, add 4i, minus 4i, and minus I squared. Now you see the plus 4i and the minus 4i, that's always going to happen. All of your i's will cancel out on the denominator if you use this method of timesing the bottom and the top by the complex conjugate of the denominator. Okay, and we can also simplify this a little bit more. So if I squared equaled minus 1, minus I squared will have to equal plus 1 if we times both sides by a negative. So it's a double negative effectively here. The I squared is representing minus 1, but we want a minus of that. So it's minus minus makes it a plus. So it's over 17. We can leave our answer like that, or we can split it up. So 15 over 17 minus 8 over 17i. Let's just check that on the calculator. You can do exactly the same thing. Just type in your question and it gives you the answer, which is pretty handy. Okay, those questions here are real basics of complex numbers here. So if you haven't understood anything that we've done here, please go and see your teacher and do more practice of this. These are the basics of complex numbers. Okay, 4 marks.